the more advanced features of Python, which I've called Pythonic. So let's switch to our worksheet where we can carry on with what we're doing. So to keep last week's episode short and to allow you time to think about these dictionary and list comprehensions, which you may or may not have seen before, I didn't take you fully through all the things that you can do with dictionaries and lists. So I thought this time I would just show you a bit more. So some of it is going to be fairly obvious, almost doesn't need me to say, but as I showed earlier when we were introducing lists and dictionaries, that you can make lists of lists and lists of dictionaries and dictionaries of lists and dictionaries of dictionaries, and as you'd expect in any programming language like you're used to, you can nest them to any depth. So you can do the same with these comprehensions, because you could have a comprehension inside a comprehension to make a list of lists or a dictionary of dictionaries or anything thereafter. So we can briefly do that. We can put something like more numbers, and we could take this. So I'm going to do just a copy and paste here. We could take this thing, but this object that we put inside could be an element of a list or a dictionary if we wanted to. So, for example, I could just start another set of square brackets there, and then that thing inside there could be another list or dictionary comprehension. And in fact, I could put the same thing in, or I could do various other things. So I could kind of copy and paste this whole thing inside itself, and then we could have one of those inside one of those if we wanted to, So now I've got a comprehension inside a comprehension. And you notice I got I sort of in that range. And well, let's see what happens. And always thinking about that one. Noticed that one was slow, but I didn't put a print in, so let me go and put the print in. Make it so that you can see it by splitting it over a couple of lines, and I could print more numbers and see what we would do when we run that one. And here we are. We've got a list in a list, and I could have then pasted the dictionary one in there for a list in a dictionary. But you get the idea. I don't need to do it to a ridiculous extent. But one thing you can see is it does get a bit intractable and hard to read. So quite often we might not do that. So we might then mix a traditional for loop a step at a time if we wish to embed several list or dictionary comprehensions, or use some other structure to do that. So, but it was just a flag that we could do that. So, okay, the other way of mixing them, let's look at something else. Let's put a comment. So can we convert a dictionary to lists, or vice versa? Not covert. We're not going to do it secretly. Okay, so Yes, we can. There are some methods for that. And so if we're taking something out of a dictionary, don't forget we've got the keys of the dictionary and the values of the dictionary, or the key dictionary pairs. So there's either many key dictionary pairs. So we can get the dictionary key dictionary pairs out. You can see this live because I'm just making typos and the mistakes, but it helps you sort of think about what I'm doing. So earlier we had a dictionary here, and I can just get out the dictionary items. And that's a method on dictionaries, and then I could print dictionary items, and you can see what we can get out. So this was a dictionary which had 0J as the key and complex thing as its value, 1 as the key, 2 as its value, 3. So it's produced a list of these dictionary items, but I can get out the values. Let's say I wanted a list of dictionary keys. So that's the dictionary I did earlier, and I can print dictionary keys. So there we are. I get out a list of just keys, and I can also get out the values which I can print. And here it gets a list, so it's extracted from that dictionary just the values, and here it's extracted just the keys. Now, several keys could generate the same value, so this list could be shorter than the dictionary, or there could be duplicates in the list. So you've got to be careful. In this particular one that I did in my code, they are the same. The value and the key are distinct. There's no duplications. So can we put them together? Can we merge lists into these things? So yes, I can. So I can use a dictionary comprehension, because, as I said, it's the structure K and value, and I can just say for K comma V in, and there's a function called zip, and I can zip together the dictionary keys, dictionary keys, and the dictionary values together, and that should have merged them back together to make a dictionary for merging these lists. So let's give that a go. Oh, it's having to think about that one. Oh, I've just made... that's because I made a typo. Diction. And several of you probably spotted me making that typo. So look, there's the dictionary we started with, coming back again. One more thing that we can do, and also it's a check that they have merged them properly. There's an assert statement. I can assert that dictionary is the same as the merged lists, and that way I'm showing you another feature, and I can run that, and it does assert that they're correct, or I could be awkward and assert they must be different, and we can see what happens if they don't match. It gives an assertion error because they are the same, so they're not equal, failed. So an assert is a statement that when executed gives an exception which you can trap or catch with a try statement. So there we are. So just a few more things that you can do with lists and dictionaries, taking them apart into pieces, putting the pieces back together, generally manipulating them, and I've added another statement from the vocabulary of Python for you to learn about. Okay, so slowly we get into more advanced features, so depending on your level of programming, and as I said, we'll go through them quickly so you can see them. What I'm going to go back to doing in the next installment is start looking at functions and methods, lambdas, functions as first class objects, and things of that nature. So depending whether you've seen them in other languages that you've used, I will show you how we can manipulate those in Python. Okay, so that's the end of this short episode. I'm trying to keep them short and snappy so you've got time to try things and think of things rather than have, an hour-long talk, which is hard to absorb. Each one is going to look at one feature and be short and allow you to absorb that feature before moving on. Okay, so I'll see you in the next episode when we'll go over some more features.